Hi everybody. Okay, so I am sharing my most favorite memory of every Christmas. For those of you that are on my mom's side of the family, all my cousins, my aunt, and uncles and everyone, you'll remember playing Pokino with Grandma Rose around Aunt Joanne's table every Christmas Eve. Yes. Yep. Happy birthday to my brother. This was such a fun game. Okay, so my mom, as I've said before, used to basically, what does it say? Martella's Bikino game? Bikino game. Now, I don't know. Did this come from the Martella side of the family? And no. We always played this. Oh, wow. Boy, the energy coming off of this is so awesome. Grandma Rose, all of us, playing our little game, right? And she would make popcorn, do you remember? And she would have a penny jar. She would do that. There you go. That's ungame, but these were the chips. I don't remember. How did it work? Well, that's the ungame thing. So I've got two games mixed up. I've got boggle and ungame. Oh, yeah. You would take a deck of cards. A new game that is logical combination of the two games known as poker and keno for Lotto, which features that make it more interesting and exciting. Each player except the dealer, there would be a deck of cards and someone would deal. Yup. It would be like a bingo, but you could also do straight flush, four of a kind, full house. This was the most fun game, and we would yell, Pekino, Pekino, or blackjack, or 21. There's many games you can play with this. Let me get that out of the way. Tape up this box again. But yeah, I don't see this game around very often anymore, but we would have 2 or 3 decks of cards on the table. Correct me if I'm wrong. To my aunt, my cousins, if you remember this. And there would be a penny jar, right? And we would win our pennies. Or there would be popcorn. And we didn't need Christmas to do this. When we all got together and Grandma was around, the cards came out, right? So, okay, that's my Christmas memory. That's really good. And then just a really good memory. It's beginning to look like Christmas here. I'm getting there. I don't feel good, you guys. I'm getting ready to call my doctor and find out what the heck is growing in my body all over the place. The crud. Stress. My immune system's like, it plummeted. So, I know that my thyroid levels are really hyperthyroid right now, and I am on my medication, so I don't know what's going on. But because it is doing that, that's causing a lot of problems. That's my cat Dustin's. Thank you, Aunt Marie. I finally got a tree to hang this on. Beautiful bulb that you gave me. Little baby bulbs. Made some little snowflakes. Thank you, Sarah. It's on the tree. Thank you, Tony, always. I am in search of... I put this here. This is a Christmas box that I got from my cousin Seb. Isn't that pretty? And then this is Justin's new blankie, huh? Yeah, after Christmas last year. Sale. Nice. HSN. Little angel. This is my mom's Santa. It's my favorite. And then I've got a little montage going here. Handprint angel. My little angel's lit up. First card of the year. First card of the year. Lois and Alex, thank you. Second card of the year. Bishop and elders and sisters from the Church of Latter-day Saints. Because once you get baptized Mormon, they never forget you. They're better than the FBI. And they send you a Christmas card and a birthday card and an Easter card and you name it. If you sat down and studied with them and took a Book of Mormon, you're on their list and you're always going to get a card. I can count on them. Every Mother's Day, birthday, Christmas, Thanksgiving, everything. They should hire the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to be the FBI and CIA intelligence. That's all I'm saying. They keep up with their members. Active or inactive. If you were only baptized for 2 seconds and you said, you know what? I only got baptized because it's one more dunking in the water, but I really don't believe this. They will still show up and share what you agree on, right? What you agree on. My friend and I went to Dollar Tree before Thanksgiving, before I got sick. We were in a lot of lines. And I kept looking at that little snowman. And she surprised me and bought it for me. That's right. So I made little snowballs to go there. This is my little snowman brigade. And my little all-round tree that my daughter sent me all year. My Christmas cookie jar, Sib, thank you. And I have the other little Christmas cookie jar right there. One thing I can't find this year is my little wise men, Christmas Around the World. Okay, it's a little too blown up red and white for me. I say this every year, I'm trying to bring in the blues and pinks and the pastels and the golds and silvers, but it kind of just looks like Christmas blew up. But then it looks really pretty at night, so it's fine. I just got to get my eyes used to it. Peace. I bought something really cool on Black Friday, HSN again. $64 marked down to $16.99. These cool little candles. 6 candles. Illuminating. I'll show you the box. If you ever see these, buy them. They're awesome. You get... Hello. You get 2 remotes that come with a disc CO something 2.5, I think, not the 3.2. Disc battery already loaded in there. And then you have to buy 3 AAA batteries for each candle. And you have an on and an off. And the off is kind of like the alt delete on your computer. Anything that's going wrong, you could like hit that and start over. You have 2 modes. You can set your candles to look like they're flickering and they're real. And it's a really gentle flicker. I'll see if I can demonstrate it because it's kind of light here now. So the mode. Can't really see it there. Let's see. Over here we can see it probably. Yeah. There you go. Okay, now if I want to stop it, I just click mode again. Maybe not. Mode. Oh, it's going to keep going. Maybe it takes a while. There, it stopped. You might have to do it twice. And then you could set it for 4 hours or 8 hours. Or you could set it on multicolor. And then all these colors are really, they're not quite that color, but I've got 3 in my bedroom that are retro Christmas, really retro, like red, green, blue, the big colors we had in the 50s and 60s and early 70s. And then if you want them to morph and do multicolor, you hit multicolor. And then if you want them to be all different colors and start morphing at different sequences, you just pick up your candle and walk as far away as you can from the other candles, turn your back or whatever, and point it to it and make it the color you want it to be. Really cool. So mine are on 4-hour timer right now, so they're going to go off pretty soon. My ex-husband's in heaven right now. He passed away September 22nd, the first day of autumn, my favorite day of the year. Equinox. Yeah, I'm sure his mom and dad and everyone, his sister, are having a really awesome Christmas with him. Although it's very hard for his kids and all. His brother's up in heaven. Just about his whole family is. Phew. Yeah, it's been a year of loss. So, people should just stop being petty. Yeah. I mean, I'm willing to hold sacred space for people for a long time, but when people start just being petty and really sloppy with the time we have here on Earth, especially during a pandemic, it's not my vibe. Not my vibe. I've always been one to either extend the olive branch or confront. Like, what's going on? Okay. You're not going to force a relationship on anyone. However, that said, you're not going to let lies be told either. So, yeah, that's going on in our family. We haven't seen each other in 2 years but nobody can question the story. So if you can't question the story, must be a lie, right? So let me tell you about trauma and how you become a thriver. Documented with my therapist. My cat left me a present. See that hope chest? This hope chest is old. It's my mother's hope chest. Let's just sit over here and look at it. And this is my video today. Cedar hope chest. My mother, over the years, had this hope chest in every color you could imagine. Orange, green, white, like, the 70 colors. Lime green, orange, white, and then finally yellow. When I was 4 years old, going on 5, we lived in a beautiful house. My mom was not doing well, and she started to believe that the white coats were coming. The men in black suits were coming. My brother, happy birthday to my brother again. My brother was in school all day. My dad was at work. My mom was a very intuitive woman. And she had some things she had found out about my dad, and she was going to speak up about those things. And my father, knew that she was going to start talking. And she began to freak out, get paranoid every day, and exhibit all of the symptoms of paranoid schizophrenia. And back in the day, in 1964, you could take your wife and throw them in the state hospital. You could take a child, a sister, a woman could be thrown in the state hospital. They were property. My mother had a lot of suspicions, a lot that were unfounded. At one time, she believed my father was the father of a little girl next door that lived next door to us. Her name was Josie. I ended up with an alter in my system named Josie because my mother used to run around calling me Josie. She'd say, "Go be with Josie, the other one." And it took until last year for my father to remember, you know what? I'm like, you know what? Because my dad and I have talked about multiple personality, dissociative identity disorder, trauma, because when something really happens to you, you're not afraid to confront the person and then continue to talk about it and try to figure out what was going on that caused you to do that? What was causing on that caused this one to do that and that one to do that? What? And I said, Dad, who the heck was Josie? Joan, Joanne, Josie. I said, well, you have an aunt named Joanne. I said, no, she was the one that came that day in a car. She was there, and I was playing at her house. He said, oh, our neighbors that we used to go on vacation with them. And your mother was convinced, like it was Joan, and they had a daughter named Josie. And my mother was convinced that my father was having an affair with the neighbor and that the little girl that was a little bit older than me was named Josie, was his daughter. Yeah, not true. But she had runaway fears and suspicions because she was insecure. And she did need to go to the hospital. But she wasn't, I believe she was probably bipolar. I believe she probably was. If she was at a doctor today, they probably would have diagnosed her schizoaffective disorder. But anyways, let's talk, and that just means characteristics of schizophrenia, like grandiose or talking delusional or paranoid or religious, getting a little religious fanatical, or thinking you're getting sent special messages, along with your mood going up and down. Like you take to your bed, you can't get out, then you're all over the place, right? Cleaning, doing everything, being Wonder Woman or Superman. So it's got all those characteristics in it. So let's talk trauma. How do you overcome trauma? Well, when I was 4, going on 5, my mother began to practice bringing me, because I was getting ready to go to kindergarten, and then so I was alone with her, and she was in a rough way, and my mom began to practice putting me in the hope chest. It didn't have a lock on it, even though you see a lock here. It didn't have a lock. She wasn't a bad mother. No, she wasn't. She was scared. For, in the great words of Trudy Chase, for her frame of reference, everything made sense. She would say, they're going to come while your brother's at school. They're going to try to take you away from me. They're going to take me. Get in. Because every day I'd be playing in the hope chest. What I mean by that is I'd be a little girl leaning over into this big old hope chest, and I'd be playing with her paper plate with all the ribbons from her wedding and her tulle from her wedding veil and just all that cool stuff, right? Her little plastic, which I thought were like Cinderella slippers, all that was in there. This was green. At the time, this was green. And she would say, we're going to play a game. Now, I'm 4'11", almost 5 foot now. Huh? I was a little skinnier, but I was long. So I'd be playing in it every day. She would say, okay, get in it. And then she'd close it. She'd say, shh, we're playing a game. And she would say, I want to see how quiet you can be. And because I was small, I could breathe. I could turn around. I was only 4. I was like to here. So I had wiggle room. I can remember, there was a corner over here that I could see the light out of. And when I looked up here, I would try to like touch the paper and read that. And I would say over and over again, lean, 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 lean. And it's a cedar chest, so it smelled really strong of cedar. Very sensitive to smells. Sometimes she would forget. And I'd be in there a little longer, and I'd be a little worried, and I'd start knocking on it and yelling. And then I realized if I do that, I can't breathe very well. So I learned to breathe very shallow. And what she was trying to teach me was you stay quiet if you hear my footsteps, if you hear any footsteps. So she would walk into the room. If I made noise, I stayed in there longer. Because she would say, they're going to come in, they're going to clonk around. Now, in 1964, there was a lot of crazy stuff going on. And, I don't know, Marilyn Monroe had just died, the president was assassinated, CIA was all over the place, FBI, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if she watched too many bad movies. I don't know if she was just terrified if she just really had intuition that my dad was going to put her in the state hospital. It was our game. It was our secret. I never told. I told a school counselor later. I never forgot it, 4 years old. I told people in my family. I told my therapist. And when my mother died in 1996, I didn't think of her as toxic. I spent 9 months being with her while she was dying in the hospital, making sure our relationship was good. And that she had everything off of her mind she wanted to say, and I did too. And we were in a good place. We talked about the hope chest. She said, take what you want when I die. I said, I want the hope chest. She started crying. She said, Maria, why would you want that? She remembered. I said, because I survived it. And I was always scared of it. And when she died, I took her hope chest. Now, my kids actually knew about that because it was something I had really had a hard time with therapy. I didn't want to go near that stuff for a while. And some people in my family were like, Maria, why would you want that hope chest? Some people in my family never have heard about this because she told me never tell them. But I'm not ashamed to say that because the way you get over trauma is you go back to the fear. You get right back in there. And I've done it. Close this. And from inside, kind of harder to get open, but I've done it. I'll show you. You have to make sure this doesn't go down on you or you're screwed. You got to pound it just in the right spot. I have literally, years ago, 1998, 99, 2000, I would jump back in it and practice. Not being afraid. Okay. There were other places my mother would put me for safekeeping so she wouldn't lose me. Cupboards in the kitchen, closets. I've talked about this in other videos, but I've never shown you the hope chest. So, this would be a bad memory. Why would I want the hope chest in my house? I conquered it. I survived it. I overcame it. It's best not to run away from our fears, but to face them. Every year I have wasps in this house. I'm anaphylactically allergic to wasps. There's a nest. from this. Well, they come in here. There's 2 or 3 nests. There's colonies. Colonies of wasps. They got into they're in this well right here. And this gutter right here. And it could be 30 degrees outside, but when the sun hits the windows, I get them in all winter. And they send for someone to spray, but they never come in time to fix the hole. And no matter what they do, they have to keep spraying. They come out of the closet. I had exterminators put tape around the holes up in the closet. Now, when I was younger, I was in a situation where I got stung. And I cried so much, my mother had a fit. And I was put into a situation where they were. So I would get stung more. So life has a way of coming around in a circle and teaching you not to be afraid. So until I'm not afraid, I'm going to keep getting wasps in my house. If you have a fear of birds, bats, snakes, whatever, you're gonna get them in your life. Your triggers are going to keep popping up. I'm settled with that. Now it's just in my way. Now it's just in my way. But it's a good storage thing for for Christmas decorations. I keep my Christmas bags in there, my Pekino, my games, things like that. Seasonal fake flowers and stuff, things you would put away in there, little sweaters and things that won't get, like if I'm working on a yarn project, I'll put it in a fabric bag and I'll put it in there. And it's fine. It's cedar, so nothing's going to go bad. So it's a good thing to have. But there was a time, if I walked into my mom's house as an adult, 30 years old, 31, 32, 20s, 30s, I walked into her home and had to walk by this, I would panic. My heart would be out of my chest. I would be sweating. I would be pukey. It would all come back to me and I would be totally devastated. And I would avoid. But by 1996, just a few years later when she died, I said, I want that. That's what I want. And that was hers too. Facing triggers is the best thing we can do. Now, my mother was not a monster. She was just a woman who got sick. She had fears that went wild in her head. She was a battered woman. And she had a lot of responsibility on her from a child. She had a rough life. She had a lot of physical sickness, and it affected her mentally. She was totally metabolically challenged. She had no uterus, she had no thyroid, and she was diabetic. That can affect your mood. They didn't know that back then. They just gave people hormones and just, here, take this pill and we hope it fixes it. We're going to take out your organ and replace it with a pill. We might get the dose right. We might not. Yeah. So, what I would say to people is, first, before you go embark in a life of therapy and living out your trauma, what happened from your trauma, the best tool you can do is get a good physical. Make sure your thyroid is okay, your endocrine system is okay, your metabolic system is okay, because that's all hormonal. Make sure that's all okay. And then ask yourself, does it make sense for me to be afraid or stressed in this situation in my frame of reference with what's happened in the past and even now, the present living situation, yeah, nobody would want to walk around their house with wasps coming in day and night, winter, summer, spring, and fall. Especially if they're anaphylactically allergic. Does it make sense to be afraid? Yeah. So that's not an unwarranted fear. Because it's kind of ridiculous to be living in a house where there's more wasps and there's more yellow jackets and there's more hornets than there are outside. So, not to spiritualize, but I do believe God will allow the things that we're afraid of to come into our life. And not to, I want to say, a very happy memory was playing in this. So mixed emotions, playing in this hope test. And not really knowing to be afraid of it at 4 years old because I played in it. But then, after a while, it was like, okay, I need to get out of here. Then it became what I would call torture because I wouldn't hear her footsteps and she wouldn't come back. And maybe I'd hear the school bus coming and my brother would be getting off the bus. And then she'd run in and grab me out. Or a neighbor would come knocking on the door. And she'd say, okay, the game is over. Shh, you did good. You did really good. Don't tell your dad, don't tell your brother, don't tell anyone. This is our secret. This is how we're going to stay safe when they come. I didn't know who they were. The bad people. I thought they were like maybe burglars or I didn't know. We were in a new house. Somebody was going to come and do something and my mom was just saying, this is where I'm going to hide you. This is where I'm going to keep you safe. And then she would even tell me, if they take me, you're going to pound on this after we go because someone will come back to the house and start pounding. So she had like a plan in her mind to keep me safe. Like she wasn't going to suffocate and kill me. Now later I've always said I died a million deaths in there. I did. It was a coffin. For me it was a coffin. But I would look for that little light in the corner there. And I would turn my face back and forth, try to get comfortable. Yeah. Okay, so confession video. How do we face trauma of our past? I'm 62 years old. You replace it with the good memory. I played in that. My mom's bows and tooling from her gown and her plastic little Cinderella shoes and her handbags and little china, shiny little things that little girls play with. And after she did that, I still played in that. But I always kind of hunched my shoulders up and looked over like, am I going to end up in there? So I really started to like back away from playing with it because I didn't want to get caught. She used to have colored water bottles on top of it. And if I saw her taking back in the 60s and 70s, they would put colored water in bottles. If I saw her taking her magazines and her colored bottles off of the top of it, I would get nervous. I'd think, uh-oh, what is she going in the hope chest for? Am I going in there? So I eventually stopped playing with the gown and the things that draw a little girl to a hope chest. But it's not a problem now. I mean, I might have a few moments. I work very quickly when I'm getting the Christmas decorations out and rearranging stuff. But it stays, because it reminds me. And that's just one trauma. That's just every day for a year, one trauma. That's just one. You face your traumas, or you never live. You don't avoid your trauma. You don't avoid your triggers and the trauma. You don't avoid it. You don't remove everyone that can challenge you or make you afraid or nervous or panicky or have anxiety or every situation that makes you scared. You face it. Some days I do it better than others. Some days I can't do it, but some days I'm a champion of it. Some days I'm like, Rocky, I win. I hope you'll all face your triggers and challenges this holiday season. And remember, we don't know why people do what they do. But from an adult point of view, I know that my mom was scared. She was trying to protect me. She was doing the only thing she knew to do. Many times she hid me in the basement. Oh, there was a septic tank back there. When that thing would back up, oh my God, she would freak out. So I knew how to sneak. I knew how to sneak a septic tank. I don't think many people knew I knew how to do that, but I did. I knew how to shovel the back up when it rained in that house. So many times it would be downstairs. For about 20 years in therapy, I drew a hole in me in it. And it was that. And I drew this over and over again. Me in a coffin. I have all those pictures in that box over there. My therapist gave them to me. I gotta tell you, I don't remember drawing them because back then I wasn't as integrated. So other aspects of myself drew what happened to me. And I know there's a lot of people that don't believe in DID or MPD. I don't believe in the way the trauma model is set up and how a lot of internet people are talking about. But I do believe that aspects of ourself at different ages that were traumatized get kind of locked off in that memory. You never forget. But maybe you feel like you have to have all the details for it to make sense. I did that over and over again. And the trauma I went through from 1 to 4 years old, and then again from 6 to 10, and then again to it. It made me vulnerable to perpetrators that I trusted. People that I trusted that held titles like priests and doctors, and they were authoritative people that were supposed to be good. People can see your vulnerability and when you have been traumatized, and it makes you a victim over and over and over again. And after a while, you think, what the hell am I doing wrong? Gotta shake that off. Go back and lay down curl up with it, get back into the thing you're afraid of. Yeah. And then shake it off. Get out and breathe. Look back at it. Oh, I did that. Now keep in mind, I was 4 years old, so I had wiggle room in there. Lots of wiggle room. It was still dark, but for that little bit of light, it was still scary. Okay, and here are the candles, not to get off track. I've got a lot going on in here. They're called Winter Joy Lead Glow Candles. 6. Yep. It's steady glow, realistic flickering, multicolor, 2-timer options, remote control, made of real wax. Best thing I ever bought. Ever. Really. Put that away too. Got all my big bags I usually put my Christmas gifts in. I won't have to worry about doing that anymore, right? Save those bags for something else. Not that I ever had to, but I liked doing it. Kids stuff from when they were little. Our Impact Conference. My bishop from my church, I helped put this conference together. And all of us 5 of the people that put this conference together, Church of Love and Faith Center, 5 of those people are up in heaven now. COVID is real, you guys. My bishop passed away 5 years ago. His wife passed away this year. His mother passed away last year. COVID is real. Please get your vaccination. Right? I'm missing one. Hey, Sarah, there's your little Barbie. Alright, I'm missing one. One ornament that my son gave me. It was a Christmas gift. Yeah, heavy. And I put it somewhere really special because I wanted to look at it before Christmas. And, yeah, there's my stash of food, guys. Top ramen, olive oil, top ramen, pasta, little butterscotch and cinnamon candies, chicken, masks, chicken broth, masks, canned goods, cat food, more olive oil, gotta have the olive oil, pasta, crackers, coffee. That's my stash of 3 weeks worth of food in case. And supplies. And then in here I have toilet paper, of course, and paper towels, and dry milk, and more toilet paper. But I didn't hoard toilet paper. No, I didn't. No, I did not. Spices. I don't know why I thought if Armageddon happens, it's the end of the world, New World Order, whatever, we need spices. We need cinnamon and garlic and onion powder and cumin and chili and... Okay. So I'm missing one ornament. I will find it. I will find it. It's not in the hope chest. I'm going to look in the closet in there one more time. And that is my message to the world. Don't run away from your triggers of your trauma. Don't run away from the people that want to know, that are saying, tell me your story. I won't yell at you. Tell me your story. I might have some questions. And that might challenge you. But don't be offensive. I want to know. So tell me. And listen. Then listen. Okay. So good memories for Christmas. Bad memories for Christmas. My mother went into the hospital. Oh gosh, it was close to Thanksgiving. It was like the end of September, early October. Yeah. She didn't get out until spring of the next year. And we went to live all different houses. All different houses. Mostly at my aunt's. Thank you, Aunt Joanne. Uncle Chris in heaven. And to my cousins who always moved over in their bed, gave me clothes. And my brother. And my aunt and uncle who found food. Made sure we were all fine. Thank God for my grandma. My grandma Rose. For a little while we lived at my dad's parents. Thank you to my grandma and grandpa in heaven. Some days I feel like I'm going to see them a little sooner than later. I want to see them a little sooner than I actually see the people that are on Earth. That we should be seeing, right? Because of this stupid pandemic and because of pettiness in a family and because of hurt feelings and wounds that need to be healed, but also need restoration and reconciliation and conflict resolution. All that matters. You can't just tear apart a family and not want any questions. So there's my truth about just one of the traumas that I had as a child. And it didn't break me. It made me strong. Okay? So I thank my mother in heaven for making me strong. I thank my dad, who's older now and willing to talk about it when he can. And we have good conversations. And then we laugh. We cry together. We cry together. We laugh together. Okay. Have the best holiday you can have, but do not run away from the people that you love in your family because they trigger you, or the houses you were in because they trigger you, or doing a special event because it triggers you, like playing Pekino. I could say this is an ambivalent, and a therapist would call this an ambivalent and very much a common trigger. When I look at it, I remember being at my aunt and uncle's house Christmas Eve, also being at my aunt and uncle's house whenever my grandma was there, which was always, and on my mom's side, and that whole time that my mom was in the hospital also, then on Saturday nights, or on the night that my aunt and uncle would go out, I don't know, New Year's Eve, or they would go bowling once a week. My grandma would gather all us kids around to play Pekino. And I could remember that time and be like, well, that was a bad time because my mom was in the hospital, my dad was gone, I didn't know what was happening, we didn't know where we were going to live, we were suddenly displaced from our home. Suddenly, our home was gone. I couldn't go back to my little bedroom with my poster bed and my dresser and my vanity and it was gone. I couldn't run up and down the stairs from my living room to the kitchen. I couldn't slide my feet up and down the panel walls in the family room. I couldn't run around the circle at the end of the street and go grab some apples that would always be there. I couldn't see my little friend Josie next door. I was just suddenly gone because my mother was taken away, and so was the house. We never went back to it. Sudden. Okay? Sudden changes you can't go back to. There's little memories of it. And quite frankly, over the years, because the family dismantled the house, I saw a lot of this stuff in my family's home. salt and pepper shakers, little mixer, little dishes, odds and ends. I'd be like, that's my mother's. That was ours. Little dresser, little vanity, little lamp. That's mine. That was in my bedroom. Why is it here? Well, we didn't have a house to put it in. Okay, so you don't get bitter and resentful about it. You move on. You move on. That's my message for the new year. Take care, everyone. Enjoy December and January. Bye.